Los Angeles in 1928 was a city built on appearances. Bright streets, new cars, film studios rising out of dust, and a police department eager to present itself as modern and powerful. Beneath that surface, corruption was not hidden so much as normalized. Power moved quietly, records could be rewritten, and voices that challenged authority were often removed rather than answered. Christine Collins lived an ordinary life inside that system. She worked as a telephone operator, lived modestly, and raised her son Walter alone. There was nothing about her that suggested she would one day stand at the center of one of the most infamous cases in American criminal history. On the morning Walter disappeared, nothing felt dramatic. He was 9 years old and asked to go to the movies. Christine hesitated, then agreed. He had done it before. She watched him leave, expecting him back before evening. He never returned. At first, Christine waited, walked the streets, asked neighbors, and told herself he was delayed somewhere safe. When night came and he still had not appeared, fear settled in, not panic, not hysteria, but the quiet certainty that something was wrong. The police were notified, a search began, volunteers joined, and posters were printed. For a moment, it seemed as though the city cared. Weeks passed. Sightings were reported from different states, but none were confirmed. Christine stayed visible and persistent, refusing to fade quietly into grief. That refusal would later cost her dearly. 5 months after Walter vanished, the Los Angeles Police Department announced a breakthrough. A boy had been found in Illinois claiming to be Walter Collins. The department prepared a public reunion. Photographs were arranged, newspapers alerted, and the city was told the case was solved. Christine stood on the train platform when the boy arrived and knew immediately he was not her son. His height was wrong, his face unfamiliar, his voice not the voice she had known for 9 years. She tried to explain calmly, aware of the attention around them, but officers told her she was mistaken. They told her trauma could alter perception. They told her to take the boy home and try him out. That phrase would follow her for the rest of her life. Christine did not accept the child. She documented inconsistencies, gathered dental records, and brought teachers, doctors, and neighbors forward. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same conclusion. The police refused to listen. The department had already claimed success. Public image mattered more than truth. When Christine continued to speak and refused to be quiet, the response shifted from dismissal to punishment. Captain J. Jones invoked a rarely questioned authority known as Code 12. Christine was declared unstable, taken against her will, and committed to a psychiatric ward. She was not allowed to contest it, and was not allowed to leave. For 10 days she was confined among women who had been silenced for similar reasons, those who spoke too loudly, demanded too much, or embarrassed powerful institutions. She was not treated for illness. She was held for disobedience. Outside the hospital, the boy continued living under her roof. Eventually, the truth surfaced from an unexpected place. The child admitted he was not Walter but a runaway who had assumed the identity hoping to reach Hollywood. The confession became public. Christine was released, and outrage followed. Newspapers turned, civic groups demanded answers, and the LAPD was forced to confront what it had done, not because it had been wrong about a child, but because it had abused its power to silence a mother. Christine filed a lawsuit and did not do so quietly. She spoke publicly, named names, and refused to let the story close. While the city focused on scandal, something else was unfolding beyond Los Angeles and rural Riverside County. Wineville was a small farming community, quiet and isolated, the kind of place no one thought to look when children disappeared in the city. On a chicken farm lived Gordon Stewart Northcott, his mother Sarah Louise Northcott, and his nephew Sanford Clark. What happened on that farm would later be known as the Wineville Chicken Coop murders. Boys were abducted, some brought from Los Angeles, others vanishing from nearby towns. They were held, abused, and killed. Sanford Clark, still a child himself, was forced to assist under threats and violence, trapped by fear and family control. Christine did not know this yet. She continued searching for Walter and refused to accept his death without proof. The break came when Sanford Clark's sister contacted authorities. Police raided the farm and found remains, personal items, and evidence too horrific to ignore. Sanford told his story, and names emerged. Walter Collins was among them. Even then, certainty was denied. No body was conclusively identified as Walter's. Christine confronted Gordon Northcott directly and asked him where her son was. He gave no clear answer, leaving her without closure. Northcott was arrested, and his trial became a media spectacle. Sanford Clark testified, details spilled into newspapers, and the public watched in horror as the scale of the crimes became known. Northcott was convicted and sentenced to death. His execution in 1930 was botched, prolonged, and brutal. Even then, questions remained. A map found in his cell suggested more victims, and bones were later discovered nearby. No full accounting was ever completed. Christine Collins won her lawsuit against the city. A jury ruled in her favor and awarded damages. She was never paid. Still, her fight mattered. Laws changed. California outlawed involuntary psychiatric commitment without due process, and the police department was forced, however briefly, into reform. Christine never stopped searching. For 36 years, she followed leads, read letters, and waited. She died without knowing exactly what happened to her son. Wineville changed its name. Los Angeles moved on. But the case did not disappear. It became a warning about power, silence, and what happens when institutions protect themselves instead of the people they serve. Christine Collins did not solve the mystery of her son's disappearance, but she exposed something just as dangerous. How easily truth can be buried when someone is tired, alone, and facing a system designed not to listen. In the end, her story is not only about loss, but about refusal, the refusal to accept a lie, the refusal to fade quietly, and the refusal to let exhaustion become erasure. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more amazing stories on our channel. See you soon.